There are places in the universe where civilizations go and never return. Ancient alien probes float lifeless in the void, their missions cut short millions of years ago. Here, the stars are dim, the colors drained, the very laws of physics seem warped and twisted. Galactic archives label this region with a stark warning. The Silent Zone. No survivors recorded. Every advanced species that ever reached for the stars learned the same hard lesson. Some questions were simply not meant to be answered. There are boundaries one does not cross. Humans never learned that lesson. Into the heart of the Silent Zone drifted a small vessel, the UNS Curiosity. It wasn't a warship, bristling with weapons and shields. It wasn't an ark, carrying the hopes of a dying world. It was a research ship, crewed by scientists, explorers, and dreamers. Across the galaxy, in hidden listening posts and on distant worlds, alien observers watched in disbelief. They'd seen this story play out 1,000 times before. A young, arrogant species, confident in its technology, venturing into the one place from which nothing returns. They prepared their logs, ready to record another failure, another civilization extinguished by its own hubris. They waited for the inevitable silence. Inside the Curiosity, alarms began to blare. Navigational computers flickered and died. Sensors that could map the quantum foam of reality itself now returned only static. The ship's internal physics models, the very foundation of their technology, were failing. The crew exchanged glances, not of panic, but of a strange, focused excitement. The captain's voice was steady over the comms. "Well, team, it looks like our textbooks are officially out of date. Let's write some new ones." Instead of retreating, they adapted. Where others saw a boundary, humans saw a puzzle. They jettisoned the failing high-tech systems and went back to basics. Whiteboards and chalk were pulled from storage. Holographic displays were filled not with error messages, but with frantic, beautiful equations. They observed, they hypothesized, they tested. They argued, they laughed, they worked through the long, quiet nights, fueled by coffee and sheer, stubborn curiosity. They abandoned a century of accepted physics and began inventing new models on the fly, crafting a new understanding of the universe in real time. Outside, the alien observers watched, confused. The human ship hadn't been destroyed. It wasn't panicking. It was learning. The broadcasts they intercepted weren't distress calls, but academic debates. Slowly, the true nature of the zone began to reveal itself. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't a predator. There was no malevolent entity waiting in the dark. The Silent Zone was a natural cosmic filter, a crucible designed by the universe itself. And the force it filtered for wasn't strength or wisdom or power. It was doubt. Faint, ghostly echoes began to appear around the Curiosity. Whispers of civilizations long dead. They saw fleets of hyper-advanced warships that turned back at the first sign of trouble, their captains adhering strictly to protocols that forbade the unknown. They saw philosophic kings who declared the zone a divine judgment, a mystery not for mortal minds to solve. They saw species that had achieved perfect harmony with their science, a science that told them unequivocally that this place was impossible, and so they accepted their fate and vanished. The universe did not destroy them. Their certainty did. They had stopped questioning, stopped wondering. And so, the universe, which is born of endless possibility, simply erased them from the equation. They became a solved problem. The human crew understood. The zone preyed on dogma. It fed on the belief that you have all the answers. Humanity had never had that problem. For them, every answer was just the beginning of a new, more interesting question. With their new physics, their hand-scribbled equations that looked like madness to the rest of the galaxy, they began to work. They didn't try to escape the zone. They decided to fix it, tapping into the strange energies of the region. They recalibrated the ship's main deflector dish, turning it into an instrument of creation. A beam of pure coherent theory shot out from the Curiosity, striking the nearest dying star. For a moment, there was nothing. Then, a flicker, a new light, born not from fusion, but from a question that had finally been answered. The star didn't just reignite. It burned with a brilliance it had never known, shining with the colors of possibility. One by one, the humans targeted the dead suns, painting the darkness with light. The new physics propagated outwards, a wave of curiosity rewriting the fundamental code of this dead-end pocket of space. The Silent Zone, a graveyard for millennia, began to collapse. Across the galaxy, alarms sounded in alien observatories. The impossible was happening. The forbidden region, the ultimate dead end, was gone. In its place was a new nebula, vibrant and alive, with dozens of new stars shining where none had been before. The data streaming in was incomprehensible. It violated every known law. It was a message. Humanity didn't survive the universe by being the strongest, or the smartest, or the most powerful. They survived by refusing to stop asking why. On Earth, generations later, a child looks up at the night sky through a telescope. Her father points to a small, bright cluster of stars that wasn't in any of the old charts. "Those are the new ones," he says. "The stars that Grandma's curiosity brought back." The child stares in wonder, a universe of questions in her eyes, ready to find her own puzzles in the dark. Because for humanity, impossible is a challenge, not a rule. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from HFY Prime.